We'll continue with our writing of equations of lines. And just a reminder of two special kinds of lines. Parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. So the information that we need to write the equation of a line is we need to know the slope and we need to know one point. For our first problem, we're going to write the equation of the line that is parallel to this line that passes through the point 3, 1. So if it is parallel, the slope is going to be the same. So the slope of this line is negative 2/5. That is what our slope will be because the lines are parallel. So we're going to need to plug into the point slope form. So you need to make sure you memorize that. It is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're going to substitute into the one with subscripts. So we have y minus, our y1 will be from our point, 1 equals negative 2/5 times x minus 3. To get standard form, we need to clear out our fraction. So we'll multiply through by 5 to give us 5y minus 5 equals a negative 2 to distribute. So negative 2x plus 6. For standard form, get the x and y on the same side. So I'm going to move the x term over. 2x plus 5y. And I will move the 5 over to this side with a constant. It's subtracted, so I need to add. So if I add a 5, will give me 11. So that is standard form. I'm not going to go ahead and go through going to slope-intercept form. We did quite a few of those on the other. So you would isolate the y to get there. For problem 12, we're going to write the equation of the line parallel to this line that passes through this point. So we have to figure out what the slope of this line is, and our slope will be the same because it's parallel. So we have to manipulate this equation into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to just work right here, isolate the y. So I need to subtract a 3x. And divide by negative 4. So I get y equals 3. You have two negatives here, which will give you plus 3/4 x. So our slope there is 3/4. That's the piece that we needed. Okay, so we have a slope and we have a point. We'll use point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So plug your point in. We're doing minus a negative 3. And our slope is 3/4 x minus 2. This will give us plus on the left, plus 3. We will multiply through by the LCD, which is 4. And clean up. So we have 4y plus 12 equals a 3 there to distribute, 3x minus 6. To go to standard form, I'm going to keep the x on this side and move the y in this direction. So I'm keeping the x. I will subtract 4y to get it off of that side. And on this side, I'm really subtracting it from both sides. And so I still have my constant to get off, so it is subtracted. I need to add. So 12 plus 6 will give us 18. So 3x minus 4y equal 18 is standard form. Again, I'm not going to go to slope-intercept form. This next question is one where you kind of have to think outside the box. Write the equation of the line parallel to this line. So it's going to have the same slope. You'll notice this is a special line. It is a horizontal line. Its slope is 0. For any line to be parallel to this, it will also have to be a horizontal line. So our line will have to be a horizontal line. It will pass through this point, and so it will have to have this y value. So its y will have to be 8. So it has to be horizontal, and pass through to 8. So a horizontal line is y equals some constant, so it has to pick up the y out of this point. Next, we're going to write the equation of a line perpendicular to this line. So that tells you about the slope. If it's perpendicular to that, our slope will need to be the negative reciprocal. So opposite sign and flip it over. So a negative 3/2. And then there's our point. So we'll have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Plug in what you know. So y minus 1 equals negative 3/2 times x minus 3. Clean up your fractions, so we'll multiply through by 2. Gives us 2y minus 2 equals a negative 3 to distribute. So negative 3x plus 9. Then we can go to standard form. So I'm going to get the x on the other side. So I'll add 3x. I'm going to keep my y. And I'm going to get this 2 off. So I will add a 2 to both sides. And 9 plus 2 is 11. This is standard form. Next, we're going to write the equation of the line perpendicular to this line that passes through a certain point. So our first job is find the slope of this line. That means you need to isolate your y. So we have 2y equals 6 minus 3x. Divide by 2. Y equals 3 minus 3/2 x. Remember, our slope has to be a negative reciprocal of that. So our slope will be positive 2/3. So now we can write our line. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Right, we're going to do y minus a negative 5. So let's go ahead and just plug that in as plus 5. Our m is 2/3. And we have x minus a negative 1. We can go ahead and plug it in as plus. Now we need to clear out the fraction. Multiply through by 3. So we get 3y plus 15 equals a 2 to distribute, 2x plus 2. We'll go to standard form, so I'm going to keep the x on the right-hand side. I'm going to move the 3y over there. So I will subtract 3y, and then I have to get my 2 off of this side. It's added, I will take it away. So subtract to 2, and that will give me 13. So standard form is 2x minus 3y equals 13. You could have left the other order. Our last question is one that is also to think outside the box. says that write the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals 2. So perpendicular to y equals 2, and then passing through a certain point. Well, y equals 2 is a horizontal line. A line that will be perpendicular to a horizontal line will have to be a vertical line. So a vertical line is the form x equals some constant, and it will have to be the x value from our point. So x will equal 6.